Hello and welcome. Today we're going to pull back the curtain on something that quietly safeguards billions of dollars in business every single day, the SAP S/4HANA Credit Check. So let's get right into it. So let's just start with a really big question. How do these massive companies, the ones handling thousands of orders every hour, automatically prevent millions in potential losses before a sale is even finalized? It's not magic. It's all about a powerful automated system. And that system is built around this idea of a credit check. At its heart, it's a pretty simple concept, right? It's an automated process that basically checks a customer's ability to pay. Think of it like a digital gatekeeper that makes sure a customer doesn't buy more than they can afford, which, of course, protects the company from taking on too much financial risk. To really get how this works, we're going to build one from the ground up. Here's our plan. We'll start with the why, then we'll lay the foundation, we'll add in the details, define the logic, and finally, we'll see the payoff when the whole system just springs into action. Every strong system needs a really solid foundation. And in the world of SAP Credit Management, that foundation is called the credit control area. Let's just think of it as the central command center for our entire financial security system. So what is it exactly? Well, it's basically an organizational unit that holds all the rules. It's what defines how credit is managed, the currency that's used, and it can actually oversee one or even multiple company codes, which you can think of as individual legal businesses inside a bigger corporation. It is the absolute essential first step. Setting it up is basically a two-step process. First, you use what's known as a transaction code in SAP, in this case, OB45, to define the control area. You give it a unique code, a currency, and a few rules for updates. Then second, you just assign it directly to your company code. And just like that, our foundation is in place. Okay, so our foundation is set. Now it's time to add some layers of detail. We're going to do this with two things: credit segments and risk categories. And these allow us to get much more specific with our monitoring. First up, we have credit segments. Now, these are super important because they let you create different credit rules for different parts of your business. For instance, you might want stricter credit limits for your international sales compared to your domestic ones. Well, segments are what make that possible. Now, here's something that's really interesting. In S/4HANA, you actually have to create the exact same segment in two different places. First, you set it up for all the advanced risk monitoring features, and then you set it up again so it can actually integrate with your sales process. Once you've done that, you just link it right back to our main credit control area. All right, next, we've got to classify our customers. Not all customers carry the same level of financial risk, right? And that's where risk categories come into play. It's just a simple way to group customers based on how likely they are to default on a payment. This is often determined by stuff like their payment history or data from credit rating agencies. This table here is a perfect example. You can create categories from A for your most trusted, reliable partners, all the way down to E for customers who pose a really high risk of default. This classification is going to be totally key for the automated rules we're about to build. Okay, so we've built the foundation and we've added the details. Now we're at the most critical part, defining the logic. This is where we connect all those pieces we just configured to create an intelligent, automated system that does all the heavy lifting for us. We have our foundational credit control area, we have our detailed segments, and we have our customer risk categories. Now it's time to wire it all together to create that smart rule the system will follow automatically. And this is all configured in a place called automatic credit control. Its purpose is really simple. It's to make the credit check happen on its own, instantly, every single time a sales order is created. No need for a human to step in and check things manually. So here's the crucial point. You create a rule by combining three things: the control area, the risk category we just defined, and a credit group. Then you tell the system what to do. In our case, we set the reaction to block. And finally, you just tick a little box to activate the modern S/4HANA Credit Management engine. It's that simple. So our system-wide rule is ready to go. But a rule isn't really useful until you apply it to something, right? So the final critical configuration step is to apply this logic to an actual customer, tailoring the credit management specifically to their profile. So you go into the customer's master data and you select the special SAP Credit Management role. From there, you assign the risk class and the check rule that we just built. And the very last step is to pop into the credit segment data and just enter the specific dollar amount for that customer's credit limit. And that's it. We're fully configured.
We've done all the setup, we've laid the groundwork, now it's time for the payoff. Let's see what actually happens when we put our new automated system to the test.
This really is the moment of truth. After all that setup, we're going to simulate a real-world scenario to see if our configuration actually holds up under pressure. Is our digital gatekeeper going to do its job? Let's find out. So here's the test. We're going to create a standard sales order for that customer we just configured. But here's the key. We're going to intentionally enter an order amount that is higher than their credit limit. The very moment we try to process this order, our automatic check should kick in. And there it is, success. The system does exactly what we told it to do. It instantly recognizes that the order is over the credit limit, it throws up an error message, and, this is the most important part, it physically prevents the user from saving that risky sales order. This isn't just a friendly warning, it's a hard stop that directly protects the company's bottom line. So let's do a quick recap of what we just built. We started by seeing that a credit check is an absolutely critical financial safeguard. We built it on the foundation of a credit control area, we added detail with segments and risk categories, and then we connected it all with an automatic credit control rule. And the final result? A powerful, automated block on any sales orders that pose a financial risk. And that leaves us with one final thought to chew on. With the system now handling all these routine checks automatically, how does the role of a credit professional change? They can now focus less on individual transactions and a lot more on strategic risk analysis for the future. Definitely something to think about. Thanks for joining me.